Hi guys, this is Sarfraz from Aristotle Prep and we are looking at question number 42 from the OG 13 critical reasoning chapter. The stimulus says Transcorp currently transports all its goods to Burland Island by truck. The only bridge over the channel separating Burland from the mainland is congested and trucks typically spend hours in traffic. Trains can reach the channel more quickly than trucks and freight cars can be transported to Burland by barges that typically cross the channel in an hour. Therefore, to reduce shipping time, Transcorp plans to switch to trains and barges to transport goods to Burland. It's a pretty easy to understand argument. Right now, Transcorp ends up wasting a lot of time because the bridge is congested over the channel. So what it plans to do is send the goods by train and then subsequently by or through barges. The assumption in all this is that sending it through train and barges will not actually take more time, will actually take less time. That's basically what they're assuming or what the agenda is. So the question stem says, which of the following would be most important to know in determining whether Transcorp's plan, if implemented, is likely to achieve its goal? So it's an evaluate question, useful to know question, what we call. The answer, of course, is in some way connected to the assumption. So it has to be connected to the time factor. Keep in mind, the scope here is they want to, or Transcorp wants to reduce shipping time. That's very, very important. That's your scope. So let's go through the options. A says whether transportation by train and barge would be substantially less expensive. You see, I leave it at that because, as I said, the scope is to save time, not to save money. So expensive, not expensive is not a concern. B says whether there are boats that can make the trip between the mainland and Burland faster than barges can. Well, if there are such boats, great. But even if the boats are not there, our agenda is just to evaluate whether the transportation can happen through trains and barges and whether it can happen faster. So B doesn't help you answer that question. C says whether loading the freight cars onto barges is very time consuming. Now this is good because if loading the freight cars on barges takes too much time, then whatever time you save in actual transportation, which is 1 hour, which is what the barges take, you may actually end up spending much more time because it takes time to load containers onto barges. So the answer to C will definitely help you evaluate the argument. So we'll hold on to that. Looks like a good answer to me. D says whether the average number of vehicles traveling over the bridge into Burland has been relatively constant in recent years. Makes no difference to our argument. E says whether most trucks transporting goods into Burland return to the mainland empty. Again, whether they return empty, whether they return full, whether they don't return at all, how do we care? So C should be the answer to this question. Not a particularly difficult question. I would give it a difficulty rating of 2.5 on 5. Have a nice day.